What is up, everybody?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Woo-hoo.
Welcome back to yet another episode of Renegades Ramble. Today we are joined by a new person on the couch here, taking my spot, and I'm taking Nick's. Nick is actually in the producer's office right now in the sound booth, overseeing everything. Would you care to introduce yourself?
I'm Lavina.
Lavina, very well. You actually played Mario Party with us yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah. So, welcome to the couch. You've
welcome
been
to the Renegade Ramble.
Yeah, welcome to Renegades Ramble. So, everybody, welcome, Lavina. So, Lavina, we were talking a little bit earlier about the games that you like and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You like the old school Nintendo games? Have you ever played any of them?
Some.
Some of them?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay, what's some of the ones that you have some of the best memories of?
Of course, Mario Party.
Of course. Of course, yeah.
I know I played Donkey Kong a lot too.
Oh yeah.
Certain ones, I don't remember which ones.
Like Donkey Kong Country Return, or Donkey Kong Country, and like on the SNES.
Yeah, the country.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. The country series was always my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rare.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
I actually like all of them. All the country series. The latest one when it went to the
Returns?
Wii U.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then Tropical Freeze was so good.
Yeah. Well, and those were done by Retro Studios, the same people who did Metroid Prime. It was the same people who did Metroid Prime.
Right.
So they did a really good job of emulating how the old Donkey Kong Country games played.
Oh, yeah. I thought they did better, to be honest, but of course, a lot newer. It's almost, 15, 20 years apart. So
yeah.
Ben Tolliver is saying, God damn it, I want to be on this podcast.
That's Ben. Hey, Ben, next time we're coming down here, come with us, because, there's plenty of places you can sit. I mean, heck, I'll sit in the floor in front of this table here if I have to, and you can plant yourself right here.
Right here, Cartman is taking up the seat right now. So
yeah.
Technically,
he's just like, you guys, I'm on a pretty sick podcast. You won't believe it.
I think back for the Tasty Jam spot, we got up to 4 people on this couch right here.
Yeah, we got 4 people just on this couch one time.
So. Jesus.
Real squishing.
Yeah, but I guarantee they were a bunch of skinny asses.
Oh, yeah, thankfully.
Thankfully, yeah. Yeah, hefty bro like me, I need some space. Because I got the ass to fill the couch, trust me.
Yeah, we'd put the bigger guys on the outsides and the skinny ones in here.
Yeah, and, well... Funny enough, the reason why I was mentioning Nintendo was because the Nintendo Creators Program is officially going bye-bye. And do you all know about the Nintendo Creators Program?
I know a little bit about it, but not enough to... I don't know the small details.
Okay, all right. Well, here's how... the way you make revenue off of YouTube is you make it off of ads. And pretty much it's a 50-50 split between you and YouTube. The 100% of the revenue that you receive from YouTube... From ads, 50% goes to YouTube, 50% goes to you. That being said, Nintendo, on their content that was broadcast on YouTube, they would claim it, and they would take, if you joined the Nintendo Creators Program, you would get 60% of what was supposed to be your 50% cut. So once it got split in half by YouTube... Nintendo would just come in and steal 40% from your 50%. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's just like, well...
You just didn't get anything out of it.
No.
And if you did not join the Nintendo's creator program, what happens?
Then basically they got all of it. They got all of the money. And here was the thing. At first, I was just like, okay, let's bite the bullet for now, and let's just be in the Nintendo Creators Program. And then about a month in, they said, oh, wait, if you live stream... with the Nintendo Creators Program, if you live stream a video game and make money off donations, you are actually not allowed to be in the Nintendo Creators Program. I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm opting out. They can keep all the freaking money. They are not getting my donations.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was a whole thing, and I'm glad it's gone. I'm glad Nintendo's finally learning, and it just so happens to be happening right before Smash Brothers Ultimate comes out, which is one that I'm very excited
honestly, I've never understood why they do it, because it's just free advertisement for the game. You know what I mean?
it's the old system, dude. It's these old dinosaur systems. Yeah. It's digital. It's DRM, dude. That's pretty much all it is. I mean, Xbox.
I mean, I wonder if it's a Japanese thing because it's like the same thing with Sony. Whenever you do like any parody stuff from a Sony product,
you mentioning. Yeah, we got 2 copyright strikes on our channel from friggin' Sony, and I've tried to contact them, and guess what? They aren't responding. I wonder why. Because they're jackasses.
I have not had to deal with that yet, though. But I don't know. Everything I put up is usually completely copyright free, though. But we work at a different, side of video media than YouTube normally.
Y'all color graded, right?
Yep.
Mike Root says that it doesn't know if it's the cameras or the lighting, but it looks like we're all sunburned.
Oh, are we all tanned and got sunburns?
Oh yeah. Well, that's fine.
It looks very red.
Oh, it's just nice and warm in here.
Yeah.
What it is, we did.
GameStop's also about to go bye-bye too. They just dipped another $400 million in terms of losses.
Dang.
I wouldn't be surprised if by right after New Year's, GameStop is going to have a massive closeout.
When you have both Microsoft and PlayStation, their next generations aren't going to even have disc, right? Like at the Xbox One, Microsoft's putting out one that doesn't have the disc reader, which is going to only be it's going to save consumers a lot of it. It's only going to cost like $200.
Yeah.
Without needing to get discs, who the fuck needs GameStop anymore? I mean,
well, in truth, I think once you get rid of the buyer's market, it becomes the niche market, and you actually have to. It's a lot like the quote unquote nerd stores, as my dad so eloquently calls them. You have your personal owned ones, the fully private ones, not the corporate ones.
Yeah.
And they actually love going to those because you meet the owners, and the owners are just like really cool, and they're just like
it's like pop culture.
Bristol, I like pop culture.
I'd much rather go support him than I would some major company that rips me off every time I turn around.
It'll either be that, like the whole discless consoles and stuff like that, or it'll be the guy that from the YouTube video there that wanted the Fallout 76 refund that just
my god,
went like a raging bull through the fucking GameStop. Just I don't know if you saw
it. My friend,
I heard all the fucking things.
God. My friend watched that video. He paused it after the dude walked out. He's like,
I wonder if that
the real MVP.
Yeah.
Just wow.
I wonder if that dude got charged.
He did.
Oh,
I'd say
so, yeah.
From what I understand, he did get charged with with just destruction of property.
Yeah, it's not GameStop's fault.
Well, it kind of is because
it's
their
on
return
him.
policy is
Obviously, he did wrong by doing that, but it's kind of one of those understandable.
I mean, you can raise hell in a different way, I guess, than destruction of property.
Well, it's just it comes down to my friend Chad and actually Ben has actually played Fallout 76 and he's liked it. He actually played it with some of our community members and he liked it. And Chad's the same way. Chad, he played it and he's had fun with it. And he's actually asked me, he's like, dude, can you please get it on Xbox One and play with me because I feel so alone. And I'm just like
because nobody's playing.
Yeah, I know. Because not only it's Fallout 76, but he's playing it on the Xbox One, which it's the least bought on. It was most bought on PC, and then PlayStation followed suit because PlayStation's winning the console war this generation. They've already won.
They should talk to No Man's Sky so that they can live.
Oh my gosh! Hello line. Games.
You'll never run into another player.
God, Sean Murray and his unbelievably pretentious press conference. He's like, we are trying to build the greatest game of all time. It's like, shut up, Peter Molyneux. Shut up, Peter Molyneux. You and your friggin' lies about Fable. It's like, it's going to be so immersive. You're not going to have another experience like this in your entire life. It's like.
So what is the situation on Fable right now? I mean, is there supposed to be the new one?
Peter Molyneux's been teasing it for so long, and I think after the kerfluffle that was Fable 3, he might be burned out on it because I liked the first 2 Fable games. Personally, my favorite's Fable 2 because of it fixed a lot of the problems that was in Fable 1, and it expanded and made things
I thought
so much better.
Fable 1 and 2 are absolutely my favorites too. 3, I can't say it was a bad game, but it was something was off. You know,
well, yeah,
it was a lot different. It didn't feel like, I guess, the first.
It wasn't finished.
Yeah.
Yet Molyneux himself stated that if he would have developed it for another year, he would have probably been more happy with the outcome of it.
Yeah.
But then again, Peter Molyneux, he said he wanted to change. He wanted to like change the world of video gaming forever with them. It's like they're good games, but when you pull a John Romero and you say my game's going to change the world and I'm about to make you my bitch. It's just like no, because he actually said that. He actually brought out a section in, I think it was Nintendo Power, for Daikatana, which was his first solo game. Said John Romero's about to make you his bitch. Daikatana releasing so and so and this and that, and then Daikatana comes out and it is a jumbled mess of a game. I mean, it's a terrible game. It is, and I can respect the ambition. John Romero, one of the greatest game developers of all time, gave us Doom, Wolfenstein, and he's one of the best game creators of all time. But his ambition and his output just didn't match one another. You can have the ambition to create the greatest thing of all time, but unless the output is there, no one's going to buy it. No, and if it doesn't meet the standards that you promise, people are going to be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
This is something
I'm like that with
nowadays.
Halo. I am so picky on my Halo, man. I don't know what it is.
That's fine.
Like you're gonna have changes through each game, and you're gonna have stuff that you like the changes of. I mean, everybody likes better graphics, of course, and more polishing, and better gameplay. But when they mess with the architecture, like your aiming, your movement, just your collision with everything on how clunky it plays, that's when I start getting a little mad because I want it to play like I remember growing up playing the last every Halo.
Because you zooming in is a big feature with Halo 5. Like that assault rifle.
That left trigger zooming in, and to be honest, it hurts you more than it helps you.
Because
it really traps you
in.
I mean, it slows all your movement.
Yeah, when you do your perfect files or your DMR or your pistol, you don't zooming in on it. I mean, unless they're extremely far away, it helps your bloom just a little bit.
Yeah, I learned from that.
Well,
don't do that.
Well, yeah, for me, I remember. Actually, the pistol in Halo 1, super OP.
Yeah,
oh,
3 shots.
They've done
three,
that.
Yeah, 3 shots.
We
3 hits.
usually do pistols, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the pistol, like in Halo 5, it behaves like a DMR, which is why not just give me a DMR, please? Just like I like the DMR so much better. It's my favorite.
I like the DMR too.
Yep.
SWAT. I love the SWAT game type because
the battle rifles is must. I guess I love the battle rifle from Halo 2, and on the remaster, it was so good. It's like why bring this back? And I think the fans want these certain weapons back, but they keep giving us combinations that we don't want.
Well,
I mean, they really do.
I liked in Halo 4. I liked the precursor weapon. I like those. The Forerunner weapons. I like those.
They just feel weird, cartoonish almost in Halo 5.
It's the loss of it's the loss of not realism because it's a friggin' it's about a space marine.
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty open minded, with games and stuff. Again, like I said before, so many people go into this game, so I kind of give it. It's like not every with so many people working on a collaborative effort, nobody's going to get exactly what we want. Everybody's going to have a little bit of disappointment. It's kind of compromise.
You have a different generation of fan base too, which is it's changed a lot. I'm big into the Halo 2 fan base because I was there like the first day that Xbox Live was introduced to Halo, and that was a big deal. And then the ranking system was perfect. It was really hard. When you won a game, you had to win 2 to 3 games to level up. If you lost one game, you went all the way back. Yeah, and because
Gears of War was very unforgiving in that.
When you got to like level 30ish, it didn't play and rank now you can be master. What was it? I can't remember what it is. Basically, it's like level 300 something that you can get. And I mean, it doesn't go by numbers; it goes by ranks. They've changed so much between Reach and Reach 4 and then now.
Well, ever since 343 took over, it's changed a lot. It's become more like Call of Duty than Halo.
I mean, it kind of feels like Call of Duty, even when you run your sprint.
Yeah,
I'm. It's either between Halo 3 or Halo 4 that's my favorite because I really I loved Halo 4.
I did too.
Good
Halo 4 I liked.
I thought the campaign
Halo
was great.
5.
God, the campaign was awesome.
Yeah, Halo 4 campaign is really good. I enjoyed it, especially there's a lot more depth to it as far as exploring the whole thing between Cortana and Master Chief.
Well, of course,
Halo 5. Yeah, I'm gonna hold my. I'm kind of on the fence as far as the whole Cortana thing where they've gone with it. I didn't like it initially. I don't. Again,
so stupid.
It depends on where the sequel goes with it. Where they
I agree.
I cannot blow smoke rings.
I do think it did kind of undercut Cortana's death and everything though by bringing her back and the whole only getting to play like 3 levels with Master Chief. I don't really consider Locke at all.
Locke I think could have been an interesting addition to the series. I mean, you could have effectively done what they did in Halo 2, where you have not half, but just under half the levels as Arbiter, and the majority of the levels played as Chief.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been awesome to play like the cat and mouse game. Like, if you have to figure out
if they had stayed to what they were like advertising it as, like it's this real big confrontation that you're going to have.
Yeah.
But literally Locke and Chief fight one time. And they only see each other like twice in the entire game before everything kind of comes to the end. And by the end, they're like, okay, we're best buds again. Or they really sold that one wrong.
Yeah, and
it's kind of like with Star Wars. It's like the Battlefront. It's just being misleading and everything.
And I really wanted like I had expectations for 5. I really did. I expected Guardians to be like Chief trying to fulfill Cortana. Like he finds something on the memory stick that had Cortana on it that she left. It was kind of like her last objective for Chief, and he like had to go on this massive universal sprawling quest to try and find out what she wanted him to find out.
Are you talking about from like the 2015 or what is it 2013 commercial where he's in the desert?
Yeah,
yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen what that would have led to, and like the old like more Forerunners, like finding more out about Forerunners, and the one Forerunner you ran into in the 4th one turns out he's actually not dead, and he's actually gained more access to more Forerunner technology, and he's getting stronger, and you have to find a way to fight back against him. And it's like a constant building towards an ultimate finale for the series, and maybe in 6 you have a hint that Cortana is actually helping you in some way, but it's actually the fragments that Cortana actually sent out in Halo 4 when she split her programming, and I would have loved to have seen that, but instead it's just like you switch up the protagonist, you switch up the story, you get rid of all the allure, and instead of giving Cortana like the time, rest as a character, instead you drag her back in and you turn her evil. It's like,
like I said, I'm pretty open minded stuff, and I love Halo, by and large. Too. So I'm not one of those people that are like I'm done with this shit kind of. I'm certainly excited.
I can't give up on it, man. I keep going back to it.
Halo Infinite.
I kind of did that with Reach when Reach first came out, because I played a little bit of the campaign, couldn't get into it, and I didn't really hit the multiplayer at all. I think I jumped into multiplayer and I seen this armor lock stuff and this jetpack stuff, and I got madder than hell because I stuck somebody from like really far away with a perfect plasma grenade right to the face, and he armor locks and survives. I was madder than hell, and I actually
but the thing is,
I guess rage quit because I rented it. And
I don't know, man. The armor
I quit
lock
playing for like a year, and I came back, and I was like, "This is probably the best Halo I've ever played online." What am I doing?
Go ahead.
I mean, the armor lock thing, I feel it's kind of a double-edged sword, because if they just go down, they're just stuck there, and you just fucking wait 3 seconds, make sure you're stocked on ammo.
Enough time for their teammates to come in and kill your ass.
I remember.
That's a double-edged sword.
I remember. Like Halo Reach fails of the week with Jack and Jeff from Achievement Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Some of my favorite ones were in Reach. I remember the one that was probably one of my favorite ones that featured an armor lock. It was this guy, he was like flying up in a Banshee trying to bomb this guy, and he decided to try and mow him down, and the guy hits an armor lock perfectly, and the Banshee, explodes. And then there was another one. When you go into armor lock, you like do like a punch, and you punch the ground.
Yeah.
Turns out this guy got really close to the guy who was going into armor lock, and he actually punched him and killed him.
Yeah,
and I was just
I've seen so many glitches with that armor lock. It's
and then my favorite is like one of the executions is like you turn them around, and then it was a weird thing it was one of the desert levels.
You talking about the one where he like stabs him and he yanks him back?
No, it was actually the one where you spin them around and then you stab them in the gut. Okay. But instead, when the guy spun around, there was actually a phantom step there, and he actually stepped up a little bit. And instead of stabbing him in the gut, he stabbed him in the dick. It was too perfect too, because Jack was just like, and Jeff, I know you'll appreciate this one, and Jeff was just like, oh, he stabbed him in the dick. Just like, of course Jeff appreciates that.
I just love seeing the accidental betrayals of like the terrible ones with the lifts and the plasma grenades.
Yes,
they'll be just running, and they'll as soon as he'll throw a plasma grenade, his teammate will spawn and then just run up the lift and then then boom, and
then you hear betrayal. And then another one I saw. It was right at the beginning of a fire team match. And a guy fires a sniper round at the ground. It bounces off the ground and headshots his friend in front of him. It was just like perfect too. It is just like all of a sudden it's just like game begin. Oh! He just falls over dead, and like everybody gathered around him, and then they stared at the one guy that shot him. It's just like, and he was just standing there with his sniper rifle. He then puts his sniper rifle away and turns away and runs the other direction.
I would too. I'll be like, bye.
Oh, you're the world's worst about killing your own teammates on games.
I do not. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Not anymore.
God.
Okay.
You see her play Call of Duty. I mean, it's so funny. She's peeking out of
Call
a
of Duty
window.
Is not,
and no. She did this. She was on Nuketown. And of course, if you know anything about that map, the spawn system is very broken. Right? Well, she switches to that rocket launcher because she sees somebody way off in the distance up in the little building.
Groups.
And then she fires that rocket. As soon as she fires it, her teammate steps right in the face, blows it up. But here's the thing. I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, you just blew your own teammate up. I mean, like, she reloads and fires again and hits another one in a different spot. Like at that point, you must have just been like, screw this game, I'm out.
Kind of like Mario last night.
Oh, that's right. You kept rolling ones and twos.
I was getting so upset.
And then right at the very end, you're getting ready to tie it up. And
actually, she was about to win.
Yeah,
she would have won if she'd have got the star. And then I screwed her over with the Bowser potluck. I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
Took all my
betrayals on video games are... I don't know how to say them. I remember back when Halo 2, you would get rage quit mad if your teammates would turn around and just betray you. And of course, if they did it more than once, or you could kick them out, just hit the button and kick them, which is really cool. But before they had that little kick option, oh man, like people just get online and just start killing their own teammates just for fun. It was just
the griefing,
completely wrecking the game.
Yeah, the super griefing was real, and I wish, for me, whenever I want to grief somebody, I always do it in like gun game. Like I always do gun game, and I just knife people.
Yeah,
I just like run around, just like knife, and just get actually.
It makes them so mad.
Oh, it does. Vanoss and Terrorizer actually are infamous. They call themselves the Dirty Knife Boys, and all they do is they just run around like whenever them and their friends play gun game, and they all just like stab them, and like some of them get so mad like. They actually, one of them let out a yell that I swear, when they yelled it out, when they did that yell, they turned into the Incredible Hulk because they just got so mad. It was just like, it's like, holy crap, dude, calm down. But
oh man,
but I like playing it. Like if I'm gonna grieve somebody, I'm gonna make sure it's my enemy. I'm not gonna grieve my own teammates because that's just dickish. I wouldn't want to do that to other people.
I remember I had an old... My friend Lee, he reminds me of this story every time we get on Halo. I was playing Halo Reach. I think we were playing the MLG game type on there. And I get on there, and I get mad because, like, nobody's communicating whatsoever. And there's this guy, his name is Dank. That was his gamer tag.
Dank?
Dank.
I said, Dank.
Dank.
dang, you're going the wrong way. Like, we're all in formation on this map, and basically doing the I can't remember the name of the map now, but we were doing spawn control. Basically, you stay aiming at their map, but you take one step back and you're on your side of the map. It forces them to spawn on their side. But in doing that, we know exactly which ways they're going to come from every time. So having 2 people focused in frame, you could basically, instead of perfect 5s, it was like 1, 2, dead. 1, 2, dead. It was like super OP strategy. Well, we ran that strategy back to back, and this guy named Dank, I don't know what his thing was, but we start the game, he just starts running the opposite direction, like Call of Duty, just around the map and dying over and over and over and over and over. We end up winning a match, 50 to 6, and all 6 deaths were his. So I was like, Dank, what are you doing? Dank, what the fuck? Dank, get back here, Dank. And like, I was getting so mad. It was awesome though.
Well, I have gotten into some Just Cause 4.
And how are you enjoying that, my friend?
Yeah, definitely. It's a very pretty game. The graphics are nice and clean. I'm running obviously top graphics with my 1080, but
show it off a little bit.
Yeah, it's a fun game. The explosions are
beautiful,
phenomenal, which is all what the game is all about.
Yeah.
There's a few things that I don't like, a few things that I like. There doesn't appear to be as many airfields as there were in like Just Cause 3. Like, in Just Cause 3 they had a lot of fighter bases and stuff, but there was nowhere to land like the big planes or anything, and they didn't have an airport. And now in this one they have several airports, but I have yet to find a military air base. So I have no, and 10 there's fewer. So, but because like I said, half that game for me is like a flight simulator. I just love flying around and doing shit.
Well, yeah,
I flying around in like the tornadoes, pretty cool. The planes everything kind of blows up a lot easier though with the tornado, unfortunately, and so you can. And I wish they had a system where, I mean, obviously your vehicle will catch fire, and so that's obviously your warning to get the fuck out, just like Grand Theft Auto.
Well, of course,
but sometimes things will just fucking explode on you out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and, then it immediately kills you, which kind of like takes the fun out of it a little bit. But overall, enjoyable game. I've been doing all the fun stuff. I love going over, like they have the train in there as well. You can kind of go around there and just blow that shit up. So,
just blow shit up.
Yeah,
that's all you do.
Initially, it was a little too much because like you have like all the different tether systems where it's like you have like the balloons and stuff, and there's like yanking tethers and the rocket booster and everything. Some of the stuff that from the third one, but they kind of like have this whole loadout system of how you can like the strength of everything, like with your grappling hook that you have. It's a little confusing at first, but I'm getting a little bit more to it. The fucking guns look awesome. They got a nice sci-fi black and red finish on them, and they sound fucking great. The cool noise and everything with them.
I need to step in there and play that.
Yeah.
I haven't got to play it all yet.
So,
yeah, I need to give it a shot too, because
I haven't gotten too much into the let's fuck with just the random NPC characters and like tie balloons and jet thrusters on them yet, but I'll get there. I remember that was the thing on Just Cause 3. People would like find a cow and just fuck them up. So hook them into like a big wind turbine.
Like also like
yeah, basically. So.
No, they like amplify and change the sound effects on it when that happens too, right? So they make some crazy noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
I do gotta play that.
It's fun, yeah. Definitely good little additions and stuff they made to it. And like I said, I'm very happy that the map. It's unlike Just Cause 3, where like 50% of it is just empty, barren ocean. Now it's like 95% of it is actual playable area.
Which is good. For me, it's a lot like Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5, like it's a massive island, and there's so much to do on that one island. And for me, I just wish that maybe like I wish that they would have added in like a secondary landmass to where you could like they were talking about making North Yankton, which is like the part from the introduction of the game.
Yeah.
They were talking about making like that available. You had to fly there in a plane to get there and all that. I thought that would have been cool. Like you had to fly like due north for like a good ways, and then you get there, and then if you crashed, you.
Well, I mean that's what I like about like with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is it feels, even though it's probably a smaller map than GTA 5. I mean, it feels bigger because you have like your Las Vegas and the San Francisco area and LA, obviously.
Yeah,
and then all the space, and different environments in between. It just makes it feel more open. I think that's one of my problems with Just Cause 3 was it was kind of generally the same environment. You did have a little bit of snow area, but by and large, the rest of it was kind of essentially just prairie ground or like rolling hills, kind of with some forest in there. Unlike Just Cause 2, which when I first got that on PlayStation 3. I was blown away by like, dude, this is so much fucking bigger than Grand Theft Auto. It took me when I first got that game, it took me like an hour to drive from just like halfway across the map. I mean, it's so fucking big.
Well, it fuels the same way. You remember Rooster Teeth? They were doing like a thing every year. They'd drive across the fuel map from one corner to the other.
Oh yeah.
God, it took them like 3 hours, and they filmed the whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a beefy map on the Just Cause 2. And I think they kind of went back to that a little bit with this new one, Just Cause 4. And so, I have yet to get around and explore everything for sure. It's one of those games that it's going to take. It's not something you can burn through in 6 hours. It's a game that's going to take several weeks probably. But.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing about Red Dead Redemption 2. There's just so much to do in that damn game. It's like all the random encounters you come across. It's just like I ran into this one. It was a random encounter. These guys were on a wagon, and they were just like, "Better mind your own business." And I'm just like, I wonder what they're getting into. And then I just ride up beside them. It's just like, "I told you to mind your own business." And then all of a sudden, one was just like, "You don't listen, do you?" And he like pulls his gun out. Before he pulls his gun out, I go Deadeye mode. Headshot, and then they pull over, and then I'm just like, wonder what they got here in the back of this. I open it up, and it's actually like a whole bunch of money, and I'm like, well, like okay, and then I think it was actually like a Wells Fargo wagon. And I just didn't notice. Yeah. I didn't notice it, so it's like, oh well, I robbed Wells Fargo. Good God, I'm Black Bart.
So I still need to play more of Red Dead for sure.
Yeah, there's just so much to do in that damn game. I love it. And Red Dead, like Rockstar, I wonder how much time they dedicate to making sure those games are as polished as they are. And
I'd say awful lot.
Well,
I mean,
I know that
simply because I guess dabbled into a lot of video game design stuff, and I just could not imagine having to work on a team that's making all that little small detail. It's like, who's responsible for doing every single bit of that?
I don't know.
Their team must be huge.
Oh, well, yeah. And well, their main office in New York is massive. I think, actually, I forget who said they went by there and they saw like so many people working there. They said they had, in just that one office, they had a team of over, I think, 700 people.
Oh wow,
which is huge.
Yeah.
And there's them, and then there's of course Rockstar North, Rockstar Toronto, I believe Rockstar Vancouver. Actually, and I think Vancouver shut down. And then I think Rockstar Austin. They got like all sorts of studios all over the world.
Yeah.
And they're just all working on all these games and everything. And what I want the next Bully game. I want Bully 2.
Do you?
Yeah, have you?
I have not played it. I know what game you're talking about. I've never played it though.
Yeah.
I keep hearing people online always talking about that's what they want. They want Rockstar to make a Bully 2.
Yeah, and which they've been teasing it ever since.
I don't know anything about it, so.
Well, it's pretty much the first game. How it works is you're this troublemaker kid who gets sent to an academy called Bullworth.
Okay.
And you get there, and your mom pretty much drops you off there, and they take you to the headmaster, and he's the his name is Crabblesnitch. That is literally his last name.
Crabblesnitch.
Yeah, Mr. Crabblesnitch, and he's like acting all boisterous, and he's just like, "Wow, James, you really are the baddest boy I've ever seen." And it's just like, oh my gosh. And James knows he's like, the guy's taking a piss, and he's just like not taking him seriously, and he's just like, "Well, unfortunately, we deal with troublemakers here very well. You'll be guided to your room and all this and all that, blah, blah, blah." And you can actually choose to, like, follow through with the classes and everything.
Yeah.
And if you follow through with the classes well enough, you actually, like, if you take English classes, you get better at talking to girls, so you actually are actually able to romance girls better. If you do the science classes and complete them, like, you can create better grade, like, stink bombs and stuff like that. And then there's also an old Vietnam veteran who claims to be like an ex-Black Ops guy. He like teaches you fighting moves and all that. He's just like, all right, give me a punch. I've been drinking all day, so I won't feel it. It's awesome. And you can like explore the town. You can go to like the local boxing gym and beat the shit out of the prep kids. Yeah, they're like
I'd never played it before.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
When was it made? When did it come out?
Oh, it came out like 2006, I think.
Okay.
It's been over 10 years. I know that. And I know they did like the scholarship edition. Actually, when did that come out? Let me double check that. I might be wrong, and it was like 2003.
Dr. Dell says, "I love Caboose." I do too. He's my favorite RVB character.
Okay, so Bully came out 2006. I was right, for PS2, and then it was later released on Xbox 360 and remastered and all that. But I like some games. Like in terms of games having lastability. What's a game that no matter like you talked about that SNES game the other day. What was it?
Lufia 2.
Lufia 2. You can always go back to that game, and no matter what, you just have fun with it, right?
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah. Do either of you have a game like that where you just no matter what you can always go back to it and just be like, yeah, this is
Oblivion.
fun.
I mean, it's open worlds for me. Like I
love Oblivion.
even though I've beaten everything, it's Grand Theft Auto and like the Just Cause games, and where I can just fuck around. Any kind of campaign thing feels a little bit more like a commitment. Like, okay, I got to play all the way through this and stuff.
Yeah.
Just looking for something to do, one night.
Well, like, have you seen Skyrim, or have you played Skyrim any?
No.
I like that one, but I still
still prefer Oblivion.
Yeah,
I actually
it's
feel
original.
the same way. I
Well,
prefer
that's fair.
Oblivion
And
too.
it's like Call of Duty, the Black Ops. The second one's still my favorite.
Well, Black Ops 2, that's a lot of people say. Like, it's still popular.
Black Ops 2 is amazing.
Well, it's still popular in terms of, like, multiplayer. I mean, people still go back and play the multiplayer because they say it's so well-tuned and
well balanced and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And me, I can say probably the one that I can always go back to and just have fun. For me, I thought about it, and then I was just like, wait a second, is it this one or is it that one? Okay. I would say probably, for me, the original Super Mario World, because I can just I try and find new ways to beat it as fast as possible.
That game is so in-depth.
Oh, yeah.
I watch speedruns on it a lot, and every time I watch somebody different do a speedrun, I see lots of different paths and stuff they take. I mean, not even just shortcut paths, but some of the paths they almost create with the shells.
Yeah.
You know the little glitch where you shoot the shell and jump off of it?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen people shoot it at a wall, or jump on it at the wall, it'll bounce back, then they jump on it again just to get up to certain areas fast. And it's like, holy, like the coordination that it takes is so perfect on those games to get that. And yeah. I can always go back to Super Mario as well. So
yeah, and another one for me, Smash Brothers Melee. I don't know what it is. That game I every time
Melee
I pick it
was really good.
Yeah,
it's super solid. I don't think there's pretty much any confusion on that game. I get a little confused on some of the new ones. There's a lot more going on.
Yeah,
and I guess the way the camera's designed on there, I have to sit really close to the TV for that one. So
yeah, and for me, there's also movies and shows that I can always watch, and I'm just put in a good mood. One for me, like a TV series that no matter what I always go back to, and I just enjoy it. It's like watching it for the first time again. It was Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, nice! I love Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of that. I need to finish watching it.
Yeah,
I like that in Outlaw Star a lot.
My friend showed me it, and it looks cool.
The first episode I think is probably one of the better opening episodes in terms of anime, because a lot of my friends who want to get into anime, that's always one that I recommend to them, because it's a lot of people's like virgin anime, they like the anime that they're first exposed to, and they can see it as a good artistic medium versus, as Miyazaki said, anime is dead, which the reason he spoke about it like that is because it's too many anime studios focusing on fan service instead of actually storytelling.
Yeah,
I get that.
I would recommend what is it? Psychopaths.
Psychopaths.
That's a good show. We need to finish watching that.
Yeah, I know. All it was like 6 episodes in.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite.
It's good. My first anime that got me hooked was Dragon Ball Z. So
I think that was mine too.
That was my first one.
Too.
And then I guess all the ones around Toonami that followed it right when it came out. Yeah, I missed those so much.
I looked at this the other day, and it still gives me chills. Even years and years later. Let's see.
It was a scene from Dragon Ball Z.
No, it's there. It is. It's, you remember the old? Remember these?
Oh, the Toonami commercials.
Yeah, the little promo intros.
Yes.
Some of the best stuff.
It's so great though.
I know it.
So much violence, and I love it.
And
it actually looked good though, You
ever see the old the Mega Man cartoon? The intro song, which is real cheesy, super fighting robot. Mega Man. Well, if you look at everything that's going on, that is the most violent destruction, explosions, shooting, kicking, blowing up everything I've ever seen into an intro to anything. It was like
there's actually one.
That was for kids too. That wasn't like an adult anime or anything. It was on, Kids WB. I mean,
yeah, I remember that. I remember it being on there. I used to watch it. I used to watch it every now and again. There's actually someone pointed this out to me, and we watched it, and I couldn't believe it actually existed. You all have seen? Have you all seen like the old X-Men cartoon from the '90s that was on Fox? That had the intro theme. It was like really cool. The Japanese made their own intro for it.
Oh,
and it's even better.
Oh, is it better?
It's better. Sure. I saw, and there's stuff in it.
Like Japanese guitar stuff, kind of like Power Rangers.
Kind of, yeah, and it's just I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is this? And then all of a sudden, it goes into, it's like, shock! Da, 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 da. I was like, whoa! And the animation that was going on, I'm like, if this was the animation that was in this show, I would have never watched anything else, because this is awesome.
No, I haven't seen that. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, oh, yeah. We'll really look at it after we're off here. But you see... everyone has they look back with nostalgia on a lot of these things. They call it nostalgia goggles. Like a lot of people some people say that they're afraid to go back and watch the stuff they loved as a kid because them being adults, they'll see it they'll find faults in it and they won't love it as much. I
don't see it like that. I go back and I appreciate it more now. Usually going back and watching it, and it's like, wow, this was awesome. Now I did have a show I did that with Yu-Gi-Oh. I went back and just watched a little bit of it. Oh my gosh, I was like, I liked this. But I remember why I loved Yu-Gi-Oh so much. It wasn't because of the voice acting or any of that stuff. It was really cool characters, the cool character designs, the monsters, the excitement, and the card game was kind of mysterious. I mean, it was just the infatuation with what's next. Kind of like and then when you actually because when I first got my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I had the Japanese ones, believe it or not. And this guy at a flea market, he was selling a bunch of them. They were all in Japanese. This is before the Yu-Gi and Kaiba starter deck came out. So we didn't know what they said. I couldn't read Japanese. We kind of made up our own rules, and then when the show came out, we were trying to match the rules with the card game, and it was kind of cool. And then when the English version came out, what we were playing was actually close. It was very close. So
nice.
I mean, I think it was just, I don't know, it was a really cool trend that came out in the early 90s, and it definitely hooked me. It inspired me to draw a lot too, because I used to draw a lot of the character art and make my own cards, you know.
Oh yeah.
That was always cool.
Yeah, actually, my cousin Zach, he was into Yu-Gi-Oh, and he actually built something very similar to the Pegasus deck. How what Pegasus had. Yeah, and he had like the Thousand Eyes Restrict and all that, and it was really cool that he was able to get all those cards and everything. But there was actually one thing that my cousin Zach did. I swear, I was actually upset when he lost the original drawing, and all he has is a picture of it. It was when he heard that Marvel was bought by Disney. Yeah, and it was Wolverine wearing a Mickey Mouse cap hat, and a man in a turtleneck standing in front of him, be like, "All right, now, Mr. Wolverine, from the top." And it's just, it's like, it's a tiny world after. And then Logan just like all of a sudden Wolverine just looks at the person who drew this. Is just like, dear God, why have you done this?
Oh Lord. Yeah, I think everybody was scared when Disney first bought up Marvel.
Seems to have worked out pretty well.
Some people are mad, and I say to them they can bitch all they want, but the fact is Disney's doing more with it than Marvel ever did.
They're doing good with that. They're not.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny. Now, the very moment Marvel, it starts to slip. The very moment it starts to slip, people are just going to be like, okay, maybe someone else should take the reins on it, and then eventually Disney's going to run it into the ground, and then they're going to sell it off for.
Well, that's what I'm worried about after the second part of Infinity War. I don't know what the hell the name's called, but once that comes out, I'm kind of worried about what they're gonna do, because there's supposed to be like a whole fourth phase and stuff for Marvel, right?
Yeah, and in which they're saying it's pretty much the passing of the old guard to the new generation. Which I'm thinking in the second event, like the fourth Avengers movie, either Captain America or Tony Stark, or maybe both, are going to die. Or if anything, Captain America is going to die, and Tony Stark's just going to permanently retire. Like he's going to remove the chess piece and everything and just be done. Yeah. But and they're saying that the new leader of the Avengers is going to be like Black Panther or Captain Marvel. And hey, I'm up to see what new stories that they're going to tell. I mean,
they've been doing fine with it. I mean, the Marvel movies are always, they're generally above average, at bare minimum. So I mean,
well, the worst ones for me was the first two Thor films. Were, to me, they weren't up to quite the standard. And then of course the first Captain America movie was super cliche. It was like super cliched and all that, but it's the origin story. It kind of has to be. Yeah.
But sadly, most of those are my favorite ones.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
It's usually once they become the superhero, that's when I'm just kind of like, oh, here he goes. He's going to go fight the villain.
I think it's kind of, for me, it's kind of a thing of collective goodness, greatness, I guess. As far as no one movie on its own is really good, but when you bring them all together and it builds a much larger story, larger universe, kind of thing, it all kind of works.
Well, I think an overdependence on that is kind of why DC has fallen plague to it, because they try and tell 6 movies worth of a story in one film because they're trying to play catch up. And for me, I think if a film stands on its own, if a film is able to stand on its own and add to it, I think that's even better. Although I do see what you mean. Like, look at everything, look at the bigger picture and what all has been built. I mean, you have this massive sprawling universe that all collides in this one one collective moment, and that was Infinity War. Infinity War was like a massive crescendo for the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, you had 68 speaking roles and superheroes, and that's just like, oh, like that's a daunting task to me. Like writing something that everyone gets a fair shake, everyone gets their movie moments, and no one has felt left out.
Yeah,
and
even Aquaman's got a movie. You know, I never would have imagined Aquaman.
You're talking about Infinity War, right?
Yeah. Well, whereas you have Justice League, which I'll say this: the Justice League movie is probably my second favorite out of the entire DC movies right now that have been released. My favorite, of course, is Wonder Woman because, damn, they did a good job on that film. And then I'd say Justice League, and then Man of Steel, and then Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman was just such a disappointment. Good God!
Why did you say that name? Why?
Actually, I can't believe they went full Step Brothers with that. It's just like, did you say Martha? Yeah. Did we just become best friends? I think. Could you throw the damn kryptonite spear away?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
The ending. There's so many weird things at the ending, like when Wonder Woman does the superhero landing between them, and Superman's like, "Is she with you?" And Batman goes, "I thought she was with you." No, Batman. You've been talking to her for fucking half the movie. Yeah, it didn't make any fucking sense.
No,
he knows who she is.
It's once again Zack Snyder, the style over substance.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Zack Snyder. The man can set up a good shot.
It's a very pretty movie.
Yeah, very beautiful. I mean, some of the shots in that are like perfect. Some of Bruce's parents dying at the beginning. I thought there's going to be no way you can show this again. That's going to be Oh damn! Oh wow! Okay, I like this. Wait, what? No, you were doing so well. No, go back. Go. Yeah. No!
Hey, I got an idea. Let's give this awesome monster killing weapon to the one person who gets fucking killed that holds it. Give it to fucking Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. I mean, she was right there. It's like
apparently she can move really fast too.
It's like, hey Diana, can you take this? It won't kill you.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, man? And actually,
with all of DC's movies, there's just kind of been a lot of fumbles. I mean, Wonder Woman was good. I enjoyed Wonder Woman.
And I'm hoping Aquaman continues the trend of good.
It comes out on
films.
Friday, right?
Yeah, it comes out. Actually, there's actually where I'm an Amazon Prime member. I actually can get early tickets to a showing that's going to be down at the AMC Theater here in Johnson City, and awesome. It's actually going to be December 15th, I believe.
Oh, so it's next week. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I can actually get early tickets, which is cool. So I might try that. I don't know. It all depends.
Wouldn't it just be? Would it be that? I mean, as opposed to seeing it up in Bristol, or?
Well, no, because it comes out the 21st. I think it's released on the 21st. Let me double check that. Let's see.
Right. That sounds like
Aquaman.
I think it's on the 14th. I thought.
Let's see. When does it? Oh, damn it! Doesn't tell me there when it's released. Aquaman TV series. I don't want the Aquaman TV series. I want Aquaman the movie. Aquaman.
Now, I will say, especially being a Stargate Atlantis fan, I love Jason Momoa. He's a cool dude.
Oh, dude, Momoa.
I think they picked him right because before Aquaman has always been a joke character.
Yeah, he has.
So putting somebody that is cool, like
cooler than the actual character.
It's like I said to myself, I'm glad they're changing up his outfit to some degree because there is no way they can make the orange outfit work. And then I saw it in the trailer, and I'm like, damn it, they made it work. Damn it, it works. And I'm glad they're not going with the hook hand thing like they did in the Justice League TV series. I'm like, don't do that to him. Let him keep his hand. And okay, it is the 21st, so I can actually see. I can actually see it a week early, so I might do that. So, actually, if y'all wanna be in on that too, you can. So we can make it a thing.
Hell yeah,
we can make it a thing.
Let's make it a thing.
So I'll go watch Aquaman together.
Yes, and from what I hear, the early reviews, I don't trust early reviews fully because early reviews for Batman v Superman said it's like Marvel, it's like they did everything Marvel was supposed to do, and they did it in one film, and it's just like, okay. And then all of the other reviews came out, and it was just like trash, 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 mediocre, trash, 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 trash.
That's the thing with me. Like I said, you know, I have a fairly open mind with things. I always take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, there's going to be compromise with any kind of project like a big film like that. And so it's never going to always be exactly what everyone wants. And so when it comes to like reviewers and stuff,
I did it that time. It was me this time.
I forgot. You freaked me out there for a second.
As soon as I clicked the video, I was just like, oh wait, did I forget to? Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to reviews like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, I kind of take it with a grain of salt. That you're gonna have a lot of people that they'll have their own little personal hang-ups with the movie, and then they'll try to, and then anybody else that sees that little, because they're not going to read through the reviews, they're just going to look at the percentage score, and if you got a few people that put a couple zeros down. Yeah, it just fucks the whole thing over. So I tend to.
And then there's Armand White. Armand White, have you heard about him?
Nope.
He is pretty much considered like the bizarro movie critic. Films that are great, he hates, and films that are bad, he loves.
Well, a lot of people do that just to hop on the bandwagon.
He's not a bandwagoner. He like writes these like really well and articulated arguments in his mind. He said Man of Steel is the godfather of superhero movies.
I mean, I didn't dislike
I
liked Man of Steel,
but there was a few parts in there I was just like, now wait a minute, what the hell happened there? But other than that, I mean, I did not dislike it. I mean, I can't say it was a terrible movie. I think
aside from Wonder Woman, I think it's probably the only other real good DC one. In my opinion.
Okay, my biggest problem with that movie is the whole Jonathan Kent dying thing.
Yeah.
Oh, with him, Superman not going to save him from the tornado.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. With the original way that Jonathan Kent died was beautiful and poetic because it was something that Superman could do nothing about. He had all this strength, he had all these abilities, and all this and all that, but yet it was a heart attack, something that he could not do anything about. That took his adopted father away from him, and he noticed, and he became fully aware of the fragility of humanity and all that, and how frail humanity really is, and he grew the desire to protect it from that and from the lessons that he learned from his parents, and it was beautiful. Versus instead, stop, son, they won't understand. Whereas instead, Superman's just supposed to be like, I don't care if the world sees me for who I am. That's how he should be. I mean, instead, it's pretty much just saying, get back in the closet, son.
But see, the detail that you're missing there is that a tornado is a lot more cinematic than a heart attack.
Yeah, well, yeah, but cinematics aside, I mean, which is more poetic and has more impact?
Yeah, no, I got it.
No, I mean, there's probably a way they could have done it to where it would have been really poetic. It's just instead the message is just very, to me, muddled and confusing. It's just like, son, the world's not ready for you. You should not do this and do that. And it's just like, but he should be able to think for himself, and be a free thinking individual and not be beholden to what the world wants him to do, instead what he wants to do. I mean, isn't that what it's about? What he's always done? I mean, and as a matter of fact, that's what he says at the end of the film when he destroys that drone, and it's just like, I'm going to do what I want. And it's just like, okay, then why didn't you save your dad? That's what I just said to him.
I didn't want to do that.
So to me, like when it comes to movie reviews or anything, I just have your different categories, like your cinematography, your composition, your acting, your music and score, the story, continuity. All that has like different categories. Because I've seen beautiful movies that just had terrible acting, and it's like, and that can pretty much kill a whole movie. But when there's certain things like, if I watch a movie and I'm not familiar with the story and I don't know any of the background of this character, I never read the comics or anything, I'm seeing it from a fresh point of view, and I might watch it and really love it, and then it just got the most horrible reviews because it didn't match the story, which I get that. For the fans, they're going to be pissed about that, but does it really make it a bad movie or a bad rendition of the original story?
Well, yeah.
I like when a movie stands on its own, that's usually the ones I like.
Well, it comes down to personal, like personal intake, because for me, actually, there was a film that someone asked a question actually on it was Epic Lloyd from Epic Rap Battles of History. He asked a question on Twitter. It was, is there a film that you feel deserved to get a sequel and didn't? And I'm like,
yeah,
there was one, and I'm like, yeah, Steam Boy, because Steam Boy set this amazing world up. You know, the world of James Ray Steam, Scarlett, and you know, and his dad, and all these like.
I've never seen it, so
it's beautiful. It was a really beautiful, a really beautifully animated film. Some of the narrative stuff was a little bit confusing, but I thought overall it worked really well. It's directed by the same guy who did Akira, and and the animation is on point. It's probably one of the most beautifully animated films I've ever seen, and even the CG stuff didn't bother me. The CG stuff was really good, and it's just they had so much potential to open this world up and tell so many stories in it, and go and show it's like all these steampunk ideas that they could have thrust upon the world and brought to life on screen, and they went nowhere with it, and it's just the idea of the sequel's just been sitting on the shelf because it wasn't as well received here in the States. And to me, it's a little bit off-putting, but at the same time, I wish, if I had the ability to, I'd be like, here's $50 million, give me Steam Boy 2. Just be, I go to the director right now, and it's just be like, arigato gozaimasu. Here's $50 million. Please make me Steam Boy 2.
Yeah, I wish I could do that with quite a few different things, but most of the stuff I want a sequel for, they've either already made sequels or already kind of doing it.
It's kind of, it's the thing with sequels though, because what ends up happening is like those movies that you really want a sequel for, they're good because they only did one of them and stuff. It's similar like with the Matrix, right? The first Matrix, had the Matrix been on its own, it would have been fucking awesome, but because they did the sequels, those sequels ended up kind of diminishing it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's one of those things.
And actually, the Wachowskis actually said themselves that they only envisioned it as one film, but because the studio pressured them into doing a sequel, or into doing sequels, they had to. And for me, I would... there's good sequels out there.
Like Dark Knight is...
Well, Dark Knight is as far...
I want to go tell you something... I don't know, it's not really off topic, but it kind of goes to one thing. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not the movie, I'm not Shyamalan. Please, nobody crucify me on that one. The show.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new Dragon Prince on Netflix?
No.
Okay. Original creators and almost all the original voice actors. It feels like you're watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
DiMartino and Konechko?
What? I can
Does
pull
it have
up
like
exactly
elemental telekinetic power?
You just kind of have to watch it. It's a lot to explain.
Well, I know.
Goes on quick.
The original creators of it, Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konechko. They're two brilliant creators.
Paula Boros, Jack DeCina, Adrian Petru. I can't pronounce these names.
What'd you say the name of it was?
The Dragon Prince.
The Dragon Prince.
Yes.
Okay.
And you want to talk about reviews? Rotten Tomato, IMDb gives it an 8.4 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 100. So that is, and that I think it might be one of the first cartoons.
Aaron Ashe. Yeah, Aaron Ashe and Justin Richmond. They were two huge. Actually, Aaron Ashe actually wrote a lot of the episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And it is just so beautifully well done.
I'm gonna pull up an image here so I can see what we're talking.
So. I know DiMartino and Konechko, they actually went their separate ways after the first season of Legend of Korra, the sequel series.
Yeah.
And I know
I actually love that show too.
I liked it too.
I love all.
I thought it was beautiful.
I probably love Legend of Korra more than
I think they're both really good.
They're really both.
A lot of people hated on Legend of Korra, but I was like, dude, no, it was just so good.
Oh, they're both great. Last Airbender, Joe, just kind of feels like it's more tailored to children. Whereas, I think
Legend of Korra was a step forward a little time, and it had more realistic outlooks on a lot of it.
You see, it did what a sequel is supposed to do. It grows up with its audience, and it expands the world through the eyes of how a child's world would expand, and they would become more aware of the world around them. For me, one of the more perfect sequels was How to Train Your Dragon 2, because
I love their movies.
It expanded the story. The characters grew up. They took on more responsibilities. They took risks, and they expanded the world huge amounts. I can't wait for the third one.
I'm not gonna lie, I teared up. I teared up in that movie. I was sitting in theaters. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But anyways, it cannot wait for the third one. So
it comes out next year. I think summer next year. And I'm excited.
So it's like an anime.
Isn't it where he meets the woman?
The White Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah, the light Fury.
Yeah.
Because he.
And she's so pretty too.
The diamond skin. She's like got diamond encrusted skin. It's beautiful.
Really cool on it though.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
they
no
give
way.
details of the arrows. They got different types of arrows for different things, and they're just So sorry, I'm kind of going on and on about the Dragon Prince.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm just like, why aren't people talking about this show right now? Because I feel like it's the new Avatar.
Well, eventually, I think once the popularity, because we talked about this in a previous one of the previous rambles. There's just so much out there. There's just so much out there for people to take in, and I think they see that and they're just like, this seems generic.
Yep. And then
but
the next thing.
But then eventually. Once they're bored and they don't have anything to watch, and they're just like, you know what? There's all this other stuff here. I'll give it a try.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I passed through it on the Netflix thing too. I didn't even thing on it, and then I just happened to see a thing on a Facebook ad, and it said it was the same people that did Avatar, and I was like, ooh, really? And
there you go.
I'm not kidding you. That right there just draws me. When it comes to movies, when I hear Peter Jackson, I'm like, he's making a new movie? What? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it don't even matter what it is. If Peter Jackson makes it, I'm watching it. Same with James Cameron. It's I have my favorite directors, and of course that's a lot of people's favorite directors too. But, real big fans of the work, like old super fanboy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me too. I'm a huge fan of David Fincher. Fincher's probably one of my favorite. I'd say Fincher's probably my favorite serious movie director. Like whenever he takes his
cinematography is on a whole nother level.
Well, and I didn't really notice how good of a filmmaker he was until I went back and I watched The Social Network like 2 more times, and I see how the shots are composed, and I see how distance plays into a lot of his shots and tracking shots. And
actually,
how everything works really
in my
beautifully.
Recent class, if you don't know, I'm a student at Full Sail University, digital cinematography. My instructor was showing us a lot of David Fincher's patterns that he uses as far as focal length and your aperture setting on what your shot is, because they don't change the zoom. They don't zoom and change on each different setup to frame it in. They change the entire lens, on prime lens. But David Fincher, he always sets his focal length right with the depth of the lens, and he does that for each shot, which makes the background super consistent, but gives a lot of detail to the background instead of just blowing it out.
Yeah,
and he'll use different types of lenses due to the type of face that you have. If you got a more chubby face and he wants to make you a little bit more narrow, he can do it just by changing the lens.
Yeah.
But David Fincher, he's a cinematography expert. So
well, yeah,
he's still an example of film school today. So
he's not my favorite cinematographer. He's my favorite, probably my favorite overall serious filmmaker. My favorite cinematographer, I gotta say, probably Emmanuel Lubezki.
Oh, really? Lubezki
is like, his imagination with his shots is just I see him because actually Ben Affleck saw him work. He was actually working on a Terrence Malick film with Ben Affleck, and there was a scene where Ben Affleck was outside, and the scene was him arguing with his in movie wife, who I think was played by Olga Kurylenko, and while they were arguing and everything, he had the main camera and he was focusing on this argument and everything, and then all of a sudden a butterfly flies into shot.
Oh wow.
And he follows the butterfly around instead of staying on the shot and everything. And instead he had the secondary cameras focus in on the argument taking place and everything. And here he did just follow the butterfly and kept it in shot and then focus and everything. And then the butterfly flew out of frame. And then after the shot was over, Ben Affleck comes over to his and he goes, Chivo. And he goes, Chivo, what the hell was that? Chivo is his nickname. It means goat. and he's Mexican, so he's just everyone just calls him Chivo, and he calls everyone else cabron, which is so he's just it doesn't matter if you're male or female. He's just like he's like easy cabron, easy. Let's try that again. Let's try it one more time. And anyway, he's like, Chivo, what the hell was that? He's like, and he goes, Ben. He's like, cabron, when you've been doing this as long as I have, you don't want to miss a shot like that.
I could see it. I'd be trying to tie that into the movie.
Oh, he did. He did. He added it in, and actually, like the butterfly was flying around, and it was like fighting against the force of the wind.
Yeah.
And like the argument that was going on, it like showed it was like because in the movie, I believe it was something that to signify that the relationship was coming to an end, and it was like the butterfly flapping its wings against the wind, and eventually it escaped the wind and everything, and then the argument ended in the background, and it kept like cutting back to the shot of them arguing, and then the butterfly flying again.
Nuts.
It was beautiful. It was really beautiful, and Lubeski and just how he like. It doesn't matter if it's like real life cinematography or like full digital cinematography, because he did Gravity too. Yeah. He did the Sandra Bullock, George Clooney film with them.
I've seen that movie. I've seen it in 3D in theaters.
I did too.
Yeah, it was really good.
I actually took my mom to watch it, and she I told my mom, I was like, in terms of 3D films, this is one of the only ones I can truly recommend to watch in 3D. Yeah. And we did, and my mom was just like, wow.
I was confused quite a bit because like when they were hanging onto the tether, and I was just like, why doesn't he just let go? Like, you can just let go and you're not going to fly out or anything.
No, well,
even though they were in symmetrical motion, but even Neil deGrasse Tyson commented on it too.
He did. I
and
saw
he says
that.
All he'd have to do is tug a little bit and let go.
Yeah.
That would have been it.
Yeah. But the reason that they could have figured out something else, like they could have figured out something else that could have made it to where it was like that. And even Alfonso Cuarón, the director, he said that he couldn't it already been shot and they couldn't go back and redo it, and George Clooney couldn't come back for reshoots. And he understood that. And
I mean, but obviously it's kind of a good plot moment. Yeah. Obviously, I understand the whole science behind it.
Yeah,
it'd be great, but obviously having that moment, forces it's part of the narrative.
Well, it forces the narrative. It forces the narrative forward, not just because George Clooney is gone now, floating off into the infinite abyss.
Yeah, Ryan's alone now.
She's just there on that space station, and there's nothing.
Yeah. I think the whole setting of the movie was pretty flawless as far as the suspense of it, and I mean that's what I care. I like that in a movie. I like for a movie to take me out of my moment and absorb me in.
That opening 30 minutes, like it's an experience.
Yep.
It in 3D, like at the perfect distance away from the screen, where you can't see anything else but the screen. It's just like, wow. Well, you just lost yourself in there.
And it's cool there, like the first 15 minutes it's all like one single shot.
I love cinematography. I love when they're able to do that and they're able to keep the shot interesting all the way through. They're able to maintain interest.
Speaking of that, one of our comments says, what about Edgar Wright? He's amazing.
Edgar Wright is
king of the one shot.
Yes.
Have you seen Baby Driver?
Yes, I have.
All right.
Somebody watched Avatar twice on the same day.
Yeah, I didn't watch it twice on the same day, but I did see it 3 times in theaters.
I saw Avatar 6 times in theaters.
6 times, wow.
I saw it. I saw it 3 times in theaters myself.
It was and that's one of those movies. Beautiful. If you didn't get to experience it in 3D in theaters, you missed out. And hardcore.
I'm hoping that it'll pick up more and more, like especially with like you seeing like Lion King and everything, where we're gonna start having a lot more live action-esque looking movies that are just totally CG.
Yeah.
Just as the technology gets more and more, because having everything CG, one, you erase kind of the issues with like compositing CG with live action stuff, but it also opens you up a lot more options as far as character creativity and stuff. You're not relying on an actor that is forced to look a certain way. You can make all kinds of modifications and everything. So obviously you still have voice actors, but I mean, digital.
I personally I find the concept of everything being CG very interesting. I think Christopher Nolan actually said this. He said, as long as you have something real that is there, even if it's motion capture, as long as you have that anchor in reality, people are going to be more apt to believe it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how, because it's the same concept with Dark Knight, because a lot of the stuff that he used in like Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises were CG, but there was still something physically there that was still in shot. It's just the CG added onto it. The CG amplified it. Same thing in Inception. Some of the like the rotating hallway thing was awesome.
Yeah, they actually built like a physical set.
Yeah, I love that. I love when they do that. But the CG stuff as well, there's still something there that's real that anchors you in reality, so you can find that part more believable, even though it's an unbelievable scenario because you're deep diving into a person's synopsis and you're trying to implant a dream and implant an idea in someone's mind, and it's just it's a very abstract idea, but it works really well whenever it's presented that way. I keep thinking about all the stuff that we've seen over the last 20 years in terms of filmmaking moving forward. As you see the cameras that we're using right here, these awesome cameras, your Sony that you have there, this Panasonic that we have here. This is a Panasonic, right? Okay, so thank goodness. It's just like all these brand names and everything.
Don't get mixed up with Panavision. I can't afford that.
Oh God, no. What about an Arri Alexa?
Yeah. Panavision's more expensive than an Arri.
Well, Panavision's ridiculous. These cameras right here, the quality that we're able to pull from them and use in filmmaking. Just that this is so readily available to people now.
10 years ago was not. 10 years ago, I mean, it was, you're paying top dollar for stuff like that, and there was no $300 or $400 intro to it. Now people can pay $300 or $400 to get a DSLR, get 1080p footage with lenses that actually work.
And the adventurous ones install black magic on there and like hack into the 4K functions.
and the thing is, it's kind of a double-edged sword because that having everybody that having a lot more people that can make the films and stuff, it allows for a wider variety of creativity. A lot more creative minds can go there. But you do run into that issue that we're talking about as far as there's so much out there, so much more content and stuff, that a lot of the people that don't have the budget to make like the high end like Game of Thrones kind of level quality stuff,
they get stepped on.
Yeah, they end up not being able to break out, and as time goes on, you're gonna have to get people's attention more and more, if you want it to catch on. So
that just goes down to the people making those. I'm just going to say like your AAA titles, stuff like that. I mean, you would say like your blockbusters or anything, but usually it's not blockbusters anymore because most of them straight to Netflix, And but I think it just comes into being a master at your craft. The more you do something, the better you get. And the people that don't stick with the filmmaking all the time, they end up having to go a different route, of different styles of filmmaking too. Because I watch, we were talking about earlier, the Angry Video Game Nerd, and it's for a show that doesn't seem like a public TV quality show, other than the cuss words, obviously. But as far as the quality of the show, it has its own. He tries to go like a retro 90s style theme to it.
Yeah.
And when I watch his show, some of the stuff that he says on there reminds me of exactly how his style makes me feel, but that would never make it on a major Netflix or something like that. You wouldn't think. Well, I guess now, since he's got a lot of followers.
But that's the thing. I mean, YouTube has its problems and everything, but I prefer, like YouTube and Netflix. If you make your movie and you get it on Netflix, so that's not a bad thing at all. I mean, I don't fucking watch TV shows. The only TV shows I watch are through Hulu, like South Park and stuff. Fuck cable.
Oh, so, dude, I cut the cable like 2-3 years ago, and I am not looking back, and I have no intention of looking back because everything's either right here or through the internet. I mean Netflix, Hulu, and also I have direct access to my mom's Direct TV app, so I can watch all the live TV on there that I want.
Like Stars and HBO and stuff.
Yeah. And I like having variety, and like you're able to like me. I find all these obscure things. Like the other day, I found this really obscure. It was a zombie. It was like a zombie survival comedy series that was produced by Machinima, like way back in 2010 and 2011, called Bite Me.
Yeah,
it was hilarious. I watched it and I'm just like,
I've never even heard of that.
Well, huh?
They're using Machinima to do it. Like
No. Like Machinima, the company Machinima.
Oh, okay.
Like the YouTube channel Machinima actually produced it, and it actually has it actually reminded me because one of the first big channels on YouTube, Lonely Girl, I think it was like Lonely Girl 15. I can't remember. Like it was like her personal vlog. There was like over 1,000 episodes of it, and it chronicled her and her relationships and all that.
Yeah.
And there was one guy who was in that. His name was Yusuf Abu Talib. He was actually one of the lead actors in Bite Me, and I was just like, where have I seen that guy before? And then I was like, where? Holy crap! That was Lonely Girl 15's boyfriend for like the first few hundred episodes. Holy crap! And then it was just, and it all just, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, that it's like internet.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, what's up?
I'm just sneaking out for a second.
Okay.
I mean, it is interesting. Like I watch a lot of like the sci-fi type YouTube channels and stuff, and you know these people are all over the world, Australia, the UK, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see them do like occasionally they'll come out with videos of like collaborative work because obviously they're paying attention to other channels that are doing that, and so it's always nice to see some of the channels like I watch like Space Doc and Eckhart's Letter and. What is it, Generation Tech and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's always cool when they kind of do some collaborative efforts and stuff. So, what was it? Templin Institute. That's
okay.
good.
Well, actually, for a long time, the channel Cinema Sins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I watch that shit all the time.
Oh yeah. So Cinema Sins actually, you know how their whole career got kickstarted? By Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith actually shouted them out in a tweet. He liked, I think it was their Looper, Everything Wrong with Looper,
yeah.
and all of a sudden they had over 1 million subs overnight because that's how viral marketing works. It's just like all it takes is one person shouting you out, and if it hits, it hits, and it's like a viral spike, and it's awesome. I love it. Yeah. I love seeing that stuff happen. And
we got a question on here. It says, okay, question for the couch surfers and chair loungers. Thoughts on action movies of the 80s? Dirty Harry, Death Wish, Mad Max, etc.
Well, Dirty Harry was in the 70s, but potato.
Close enough.
So, films of the 80s.
I love the action films of the 80s. They're great.
I think like the super macho ones, like I find them hilarious.
First Blood.
Well, for me, I like First Blood a lot.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Rambo film. I like the second one okay. The third one,
Yep. Third one fell off.
But for me,
I
would
like
say
the reboot. That's my favorite.
For me, I'd say the one I laughed at the most was probably Commando, just because of how cartoonishly ridiculous it is.
Oh man, it was definitely the cheesiest era of macho men with big guns firing from the hip.
Not just big guns, but big guns.
Was it toxic masculinity?
Oh yeah, I don't know what it was, but it did have a lot of really good movies. Predator.
Predator was great.
Predator was great, and if you look at Arnold and when he shakes hands with the other guy and their muscles just bulge up.
Yeah,
it was like this man.
Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
I remember that my dad actually was just like. I remember that scene of the film. My dad was just like, "What do you think about that, son?" And I'm just like, "Is that real?" Because Arnold Schwarzenegger's arm. This was like still back when he was in Mr. Olympia shape.
Yeah,
and it's amazing to me that he was 40 years old right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just like boom. It's like oh, I'm like, whoa, no, get that away from me. I'm afraid of it.
I could never much get into Steven Seagal films though.
Steven Seagal is a hack, dude. Actually, you know who's actually a badass who actually choked out Steven Seagal when Steven Seagal Steven Seagal asked him to do it, and Steven said that I can break out of any chokehold. Gene LaBelle. You ever heard of Gene LaBelle?
I have not.
Judo Gene LaBelle. He's almost like 90 years old, and he can still tie people up in knots. Just how tough he is. He's just a naturally tough guy. He actually was one of the guys who taught Bruce Lee grappling.
Wow. I didn't even know Bruce Lee did anything with grappling.
He went over some grappling techniques so you could remain standing as best you could, and also certain chokes like the Darce choke and also like the arm in choke and all that.
Yeah.
He actually talked to Gene LaBelle about that, and he actually learned a lot from Gene LaBelle. Well, Gene LaBelle was on set one day, and he was a stuntman for a really long time, and he was on a movie set with Steven Seagal, and Steven Seagal was just like bragging about how no one could choke him out. He had this move. He's like, Gene LaBelle talks like this. He's like, yeah, he talks like this right here. He's got like a old smoker's voice, even though he's never smoked a day in his life. So anyway, Steven Seagal comes up to me. He's like, I got this move. I can't be choked out. And I'm like, all right, Steven. So I get up behind him, and I get my arm around his neck, and I put him in the rear naked choke, and I then takes this hand here, the free hand, and he chops me right in the old sisters, and next thing you know, I tap his top of his head, and he's out cold. So I guess he had to go to the bathroom too, and he pissed himself. And Steven Seagal's a hack, dude. I mean, the guy's just like, yeah, all these great martial artists out there, I taught them all their moves. It's like he bragged that Anderson Silva knocked out Vitor Belfort at a UFC event, like a front kick straight to the face. Yeah. Probably Anderson Silva's best knockout ever. Steven Seagal was like in the news the next day. He's just like, yeah, I taught Anderson Silva how to do that. And I'm like, you didn't do shit. You're so fat you can't even probably lift your leg up past your hip. Yeah, freaking jackass.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad 80s action movies. I want to actually say most of them were
all Steven Seagal films are bad. Stuff,
but
Terminator.
I think at the
was good.
Yeah, Terminator. Oh yeah,
Terminator was awesome.
I love Terminator.
When did Terminator 2 that came
91.
91.
Yeah, right.
Well, I still count that in the era. Yep. I mean, because it's close enough.
Yeah.
So. For me, Terminator 2...
2 was my favorite.
2 is probably my favorite as well.
Hands down.
I love the concepts that are presented in 1, and I love that it's once again a sequel doing its job, expanding on the idea and showing more and doing more, and showing and like progressing the story forward as a good sequel should. But Terminator 2 is probably my favorite as well. I thought 3 was decent. Right up until the ending, and the ending actually pushed it into actually pretty good territory for me.
Yeah.
Because the ending, I didn't expect that. Yeah. I was just like, okay, they're going to get down there, they're going to shut down the Wait, what?
Oh. Yeah.
And then it's like, oh. Oh, no.
Yep.
And it's like...
So there was conflict between the ending of Terminator 3 and the Sarah Connor Chronicles. There was if you missed... if you did not watch all of the Sarah Connor Chronicles, or at least don't know exactly what happened...
They canceled the show.
2 seasons.
What's the newest Terminator movie that just recently? Not recently. Heck,
Genesis.
Quite a few years now.
You talking about Salvation?
No, not Salvation. Genesis.
Yeah, Genesis.
And that I don't like how it kind of threw that around, and John Connor became a bad guy. That was like, what? Are you serious?
My problem with that is that they gave that away in the trailer.
Yeah.
I hate
some trailers that do that.
I do too. The one I always talk about is How to Train Your Dragon 2. They give away that Hiccup's mother's alive in the trailer. Yep. Save that for the movie.
Yep.
Save it for release. It's just like, oh my gosh, she's alive. Wait, what?
Or they have somebody die off in the trailer or something.
Well, yeah.
I want to know that.
It's like, why? Why? Oh yeah, it's like you can easily tell. It's just like, but for me, if they would have saved John Connor, like showing John Connor being a bad guy, like save that for the movie, I would have at least found that better off than knowing about it beforehand and just be like, so how are they gonna fuck this shit up?
Yeah. Now I will say that when they went back and did the scenes of like the Terminator 1.
That was awesome.
Spot on.
I love that.
That was awesome.
I love that.
You were going to say something?
What'd you think about Terminator Salvation?
Terminator Salvation did not give me any vibe of being a Terminator movie, period. But as a standalone movie, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I definitely enjoyed it.
For me, actually, I always go back and I watch the second trailer that they released for it. I think that's probably my favorite cut together trailer of all time because it uses music. It uses the music perfectly, and it's a song that fits so well with the setting of that film. It's "The Day the Whole World Went Away" by 9 Inch Nails, and it's awesome. And the trailer fits so well with it, and the music and the scenes match up so well together. Yeah. I'm like, if the movie would have been like this, match that tone all the way through, I would have liked it a lot more. Go ahead.
I will say, I think that came out pretty soon after Avatar, and that was I think that was in the phase of like, man, I got to see all the Sam Worthington movies because he's gonna be the next
I thought it came out before. It came out before Avatar, didn't it?
No, I think it came out. I think it was like 2011.
Yeah, well, let's do a check and see.
I think it came out like in 2010.
So I remember watching it, saying that's the dude from Terminator.
Unfortunately, Sam Worthington hasn't done anything really as of late.
I don't think he ever has to, does he? Well,
he doesn't have to
in the next
now,
4 Avatar movies. So
yeah, I'm assuming they're bringing him back. I'm assuming it's playing.
I'm assuming it
did. They actually came out the same year. Terminator Salvation came out 6 months before.
6 months before. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I do remember. While I watched the movie,
maybe it was like it was a retro thing. Like, wait, okay, I know this guy from Avatar.
Yeah,
that's right. That movie.
Yeah, well, Sam Worthington. I mean, he made so much money off of like the first Avatar and all the other movies he's done. He's good.
But I would like to see him in anything. Obviously, his acting is kind of a narrow region, but. Because I just watched Clash of the Titans a few weeks back.
Well, my favorite part is he played I love it when you don't have a strong protagonist. I like it when your protagonist is...
he has a lot of faults or something.
He has a lot of faults and everything, and has to overcome those obstacles as well as a seemingly impossible obstacle, which is 2 of the steps of the Hollywood 6 stage of writing. Works pretty good.
But yeah, I do agree. Like for me, I like a protagonist that is vulnerable, that is human. It's like,
I mean, what's more vulnerable than a wheelchair? And then gets called back into the Marines as a lab rat. I mean, that was really cool. I was I like this.
Well, for me, probably my favorite like vulnerable protagonist of all time in a film has probably got to be John McClane from at least the first Die Hard film. Because the first Die Hard film, he gets beat to shit. Yeah, he gets shot a couple times. He gets tears in his feet from glass. Yeah. He gets thrown off the side of a building and survives just by the skin of his ass. I mean, holy shit. The guy got trounced all throughout the film, but yet somehow he won. And it's awesome. I love stuff like that. I love when the protagonist is like it.
And that's one of the things that I'm doing with my story is, even though my characters they're part of like an elite special forces unit, they have to work as a team to do their thing. They can't be, it's not all just on them. That's a
big challenge all itself.
Them being badasses, the enemies that they're fighting, it's the same thing with, combat in real life. Making bad guys look like, idiotic goons that don't know what they're fucking doing is the wrong way to approach it. Especially
you want to have your villains be formidable. You want them.
I thought the Marines in Avatar weren't just stupid either.
No, they weren't.
They were very. I mean,
they were winning the majority of the film.
Yeah.
I mean, they knocked down Home Tree, for God's sakes.
And even at the end, they barely won.
Yeah.
I mean, by the skin of their teeth, they barely won.
Somehow the spacecraft there filled with high explosives that blew up right next to the tree. It didn't actually hit the tree, but apparently that wasn't enough to still fucking destroy that entire forest.
Yeah, they say, of course, with a lot of different explosives, especially like nuclear explosions, you can't accidentally blow up a nuclear bomb.
No.
You can blow up some next to it, and it doesn't explode. Of course, now that was a lot different type of bomb, too.
Well, in every sci-fi where, they talk about the nuclear core is going to, explode, like fusion, especially fusion reactors.
Yeah. It's not in there
like fusion reactors, especially, those just turn off. They don't, there's no meltdown. They don't fucking go nuclear.
That's one thing. I'm glad that they actually portray that. They portray that correctly in some films.
Yeah.
For me, the one that got it right was True Lies. As silly as a film that is, when they fall out, when that one van goes off the front of the bridge. Actually, I like that Arnold Schwarzenegger is just like when the F-18s are asking, it's like, just to be clear, if we take out those vans, those will not detonate the nuclear devices. Negative, everyone. That is a clear negative. And he looks over at Tom Arnold and goes, I hope so. and then it doesn't happen. You know, the bombs go down and nothing happens.
Yeah, but that was the thing in the movie Broken Arrow, wasn't it? Where like they were talking about like the bombs that they can sit in like burning gasoline for 5 hours and won't explode. Yeah, but any more than that, they could go nuclear. And like, I don't think so.
Mm-mm. No, it takes the very precise function. Of like initiating the fusion.
Yeah, it all has to be simultaneously centered down.
Yeah,
like, you know, if there's any kind of gap like that. Actually, they did that in was it Peacemaker? I think with George Clooney.
Oh yeah,
or Peacekeeper. I forget what it was. Peace something, but where like they have like this small little fusion bomb, and George Clooney basically just breaks off one explosive panel off of it, and the thing detonates like you'd probably assume like a small dirty bomb would, but it doesn't go nuclear because it's not an evenly distributed explosion. So
it's
or implosion, I should say.
See, and that's kind of what I was thinking about, like when the ship that went down there. But it depends on the type of bomb that it is too. Yeah. I don't really know enough, but you think they were stacked in brick or blocks like that, and it almost kind of gave. But they were it was kind of like packed like C4 pretty much like that. So I'm not sure how that was.
This is which one?
Avatar.
Oh, and after yeah. Well, I think they said they were like mining explosives, so it should have just been like fucking like glycerin or something like gunpowder.
I have no idea.
I mean, TNT. I mean that shit. Yeah, you put fire to that'll explode real fast.
Oh yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
Probably napalm.
Like,
who knows?
It looked like it went off like a fuel or explosive right next to the pretty. I forget what they called it. The mystical tree.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Oh god!
But then again, explosions in movies are always portrayed incorrectly.
Horror films is one of my most loved, but also most hated genre of.
Oh god!
It has to really scare me. But okay, listen, The Grudge scares the
Oh god, that didn't get me. That didn't get me. I laughed.
Like,
I laughed.
You know, and it's like gross.
Yeah.
That's the only movie that's really scared me.
The Grudge was creepy. The Ring, I swear to God.
Ring?
I
laughed at that one now because of Scary Movie, okay?
No.
Scary Movies cracked me up.
Okay. I think it was like 10.
It was a mistake. It was a mistake for me to go watch The Grudge with my dad because he made that film so damn funny because there was that one scene where the girl's laying in bed and she like lifts the covers up and there's the Grudge girl drags her down.
I slept with my freaking feet in the blanket.
It drags her down into the bed and my dad saw that. He was just like, oh well, it's the mattress police. And then there was another one. It was the one where the boy got closer and closer to the window of the elevator going up, like every time you saw the little window through the elevator, the boy was closer and closer. And my dad was just like, bet you on the next floor he's going to make a stupid face, like making a stupid. Could you imagine every floor?
I just don't see something scary about a little girl standing in a hallway looking at you creepy.
No, listen.
Have you seen Shutter? If that thing came up, I would just punch that thing straight in the face.
Play the game Fear.
Yeah, no. I have played Fear.
Oh, Fear. Alma. Yeah, Alma and Fear. She's pretty terrifying.
The first one, it's definitely some creepy moments.
I mean, it gets you the jump scares when you're not
I call them long-haired bitches, and I don't like them.
Well, long-haired bitches.
As far as favorite.
I mean, honestly, you see a little boy, you ain't gonna be scared of it.
Yep.
But then here it is with the long hair, and that freaks me out.
Personal favorite as far as horror effect is probably looking down that long lit hallway and just having the lights gradually shut off as it approaches you, when it blinks. But the creepier one is when they just shut off, so you just have this void of darkness approach you.
Yeah,
they did that in The Grudge, I believe, and then also in The Matrix, one of the Matrix movies.
They've done that.
It's really it's
Stranger Things did it.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. It's not really scary, but it's unnerving.
The newest horror would probably be The Nun that I like.
Mm-hmm.
It was really. The Nun was okay. I really like
Cinematography, music, excellent. Yeah. Acting and story.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, I enjoyed it though. I thought some of the art
yeah.
was so well done on there.
Yeah,
and just the color correction and I don't know, man. It just had an awesome vibe to it.
There's actually a horror film that came out recently. Actually, Nick is a huge fan of it. It's A Quiet Place. Mm-hmm. A Quiet Place is actually a really, really well done
sci-fi horror.
Yeah, good sci-fi horror, and also I liked Get Out pretty good. I thought it was a little goofy in some parts. Well, I thought it was a little goofy in some parts, but hey, I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. But I'd say for me, I'm a fan of the old school suspense films. Mm-hmm. Hitchcock is one of my favorite examples. Yep. My favorite Hitchcock film, a lot of people would expect me to say Psycho because that's always the one people go to, is Rear Window. Because
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh my gosh, dude. The last 30 minutes, I watched it with my dad and my stepmom. My stepmom was just like couldn't breathe for like the last 30 minutes because she was just like because it's these very subtle things that Hitchcock did that amped the suspense up so much, and when the moment of horror truly came and you realized in how much danger the main character was in, it was just it's otherworldly, man. I loved it so much.
The old school Pumpkinhead movie. First and second one were pretty terrifying to me as a kid. So, I don't know what it was about that movie. I think it's just how tall it was, how it walked, how it lurked, and it was like stood just tall enough over the cornfield, so it was just it just looked like a demon.
Yeah,
which is pretty much what it was. That one terrified me. I laughed hard at the very first Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The 74?
Yeah. And my mom, she's like, oh, you probably like this movie. All right, I'm watching it. Because me and my mom used to watch horror movies growing up. Nightmare on Elm Street. And
And
Don't do that. Oh, my God.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I was just like,
oh, man. It got you good.
You already put the grudge on
Nick
the freaking...
back here just threw a big image up of a long-haired bitch. On the screen, as you say.
What is
Nick, you evil son. I didn't see that because it's right out of range. I was wondering what the hell happened.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. Because it was at my foot, so I was like, whoa.
Damn it, why you do this?
There is a, no, you have to correct me if I'm wrong in this one. I cannot remember the name, but the character on The Evil Within, it had the spider crawl, had multiple legs with the long-haired woman with the crooked face.
Yeah, her.
But but I can't remember the name of her. But
I just called her Spider Bitch.
Yeah, that's what I called her. But apparently that's based
Spider
off of
Spider Bitch. Why you gotta be
mythology.
Creepy, you Spider Bitch?
Based off of a Japanese mythological god.
Yeah,
it is. I was like, I looked it up.
An Oni of some kind. It's
I'm not exactly sure what it's called. If anybody knows, feel free to correct me on
Junji Ito, actually, have you seen any of his artwork?
Mm-mm.
That is fucking nightmare fuel.
Not sure.
Actually, let me pull up some Junji Ito. There he is, Junji Ito artwork. This guy's artwork is like this right here, like stuff like that.
That is cool.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
Ultra freaking creepy. Like super disturbing. Like this right here. This is one of his like succubus drawings right here. Like one of his renditions of like a form of succubus.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But that doesn't look like any succubus I've ever seen.
Yeah, me either.
And then this one right here, the hollowed head, which is.
It's a very strange art, but I like it.
Yeah, I like different.
Yeah, and go ahead.
As far as like the Ring and the Grudge goes, I only saw the American adaptations. I never saw like the original Japanese stuff. But
some of the Japanese stuff it works better.
From what I heard though, and I still got to watch it because it sounds stupid and funny. Is apparently they made a movie because both the Grudge and the Ring are both Japanese stories. Apparently they made a movie where Samara from the Ring battles out against the Grudge for like the soul of someone.
Oh wow,
I've heard about that.
Oh yeah, it sounds silly as shit.
So, in terms of adaptations of horror movies, Let's see. There's actually one that I was actually very excited about. The Snowman. The Snowman. It was going to be like I thought it was going to be like an old school Hitchcock suspense with a little bit of like with like Fincher edginess from like Seven, but instead it was just a misfire on so many levels. They had such a great cast too. They had Michael Fassbender, Rebecca Ferguson, J.K. Simmons. They had a really great cast, and they wasted it.
I don't think I've ever Snowman.
Well, if you watch the trailers, they get you excited because it's about a serial killer who kidnaps people, cuts pieces of their body off. They start with the head, and they encase them inside of snow, and they build snowmen. And at the top of the snowman, they put the head.
Oh wow!
And whenever the snow starts to, the only way you'll be able to tell is when the snow starts to melt, and you start to see like the head come through. Yeah. And it's really freaking creepy, and I loved it. I loved the idea of that, like that being out in a public park somewhere, and like some kid comes up and sees the face and doesn't know what to make of it. It's like some poor woman's face, and she's just like.
Yeah.
And it's just holy. Like, the thought of that is so terrifying, and I love the idea, and they ruin it. I'm like, come on! You can do better than this. You waste Michael Fassbender like that.
I don't know if we're... how long we've been going?
Oh, we've been going, I think we've been going over an hour and a half. I forgot to set the timer.
That's all good.
Oh, yeah, we have been going over an hour and a half.
So, talking about movies will get me talking all day. So.
Oh, yeah.
I know, because there's so many movies.
Oh, yeah. So, anywho, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to probably end it here. We hope that you all have enjoyed what you've seen here, and we hope that you will come back and join us for some more in the future. So, I guess signing off for, what's up?
This is for, for Dr. Dell.
Uh-huh.
Let's see if I can do it.
Do we all do this?
Yeah.
No,
the little boy did like the meow thing too, right? Did the boy
the Grudge Quartet. Actually, no. Actually.
No, I'm talking about like the boy in the Grudge.
Well,
his mouth like slings open. Yeah. It's like,
yeah,
that's really good.
God. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed what you've seen here. Nick, stop that. You're scared. Nick, stop that. You're scaring me. Okay. So
that is weird. I was like, "What is that?"
I thought it was like that's like his throat. That's like his throat singing thing that he does for practice.
Was that seriously him?
Yeah, that was him.
Wow.
Yeah, he's good. He's good at that.
Spider pig.
There he goes again. I don't know if y'all can hear that.
Probably not. That's probably
not.
Yes, death metal.
Yeah, it's his practice.
We ought to have a mic in there in the control room.
We should. We need to have like a little speaker thing. It's like, we're going live.
we need an on-air sign.
Yeah, we do. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the third attempt at trying to outro this some bitch. So, anywho, hope you've enjoyed this episode of Renegades Ramble. This was episode 3. Hope you will come back and watch more of this from us. So, signing off.
Boost -1.
Good God. So that was Roan. That's Jacob. This is Levita. I'm Nate. We'll see you later, everybody. Peace out.
Peace.
God.